the time you get to college, your roommate, people you know in your family, people that you're in class with, probably some of your teachers have been sexually assaulted. And we never talk about it, typically. So if somebody honors you with the story, if they come to you and tell you a story of a childhood abuse, or they tell you something happened last weekend, being a good listener is super important. Probably the most important thing to do is to just believe them, to just sit there with that person and let them tell the story in their own pace, not asking too many questions. The questions to avoid are all the why questions. Why did you go with him? Why were you drinking? Why did you wear that? Those are the questions that make a survivor feel terrible shame for everything. And it's not the victim's fault. It is never the victim's fault when there's an assault. That's something to understand, is that you can do everything wrong. You can wear the wrong clothes, you can go with the wrong people, you can drink too much, you can be in a bad situation with bad people, and nothing bad happens other than maybe you wake up the next day and you're not feeling too good, or somebody shows you what you're wearing and you're appalled. Okay, so big deal. The difference between waking up at fine and waking up assaulted is a perpetrator. Take the perpetrator out of the picture, you just have an evening. And many of us have those evenings. You ask any of us old people, what was it like when you were young? We were all partying too. But being sexually assaulted puts a whole different spin on a dangerous evening. The perpetrator is the one we have to concentrate on there. So it's important to not ask the why questions. It's important to say thank you for sharing this with me, and then to not share that information with a bunch of random people. In the era of Facebook and Twitter, people's lives are blown apart in half an hour. I've had high school students tell a best friend, had the best friend post it on Facebook, and within several hours the poor girl is shredded to pieces in public opinion without anybody ever really understanding what happened. So be very cautious when somebody shares important information with you, that you hold that trust and that confidence, and you just don't tell anybody until they ask you to, or if they ever do. It's also important to understand that hearing that story is very stressful. So as a supportive friend, you may yourself need some help. You have a wonderful counseling center on campus. We're here for you at the Bridge to Hope, and that is something that I would suggest. If you feel like you're burdened, like this is too big of a thing for you to handle as a friend, you need to get help, and you need to ask your friend to get help. Sometimes people can do that, sometimes they can't, but we're always here 24 hours a day, round the clock.